Hey crafters, Leo with Dreaming Tree, and welcome to the assembly video for our Hummingbird Flourish card. I have all of my pieces cut out here in front of me, and you should as well. You can see here that it's a very simple layering project. Your machine is going to do all the work. We're going to focus on a few little tidbits here just to make sure that everything stays nice and secure, but overall this one should go pretty quick. Let's start off with our black layer, and then this layer is going to go on top. The only difference between these two layers is that this part's not cut out. Okay, so that's how you're going to know. In case you're using different colors than I am and yours is not pink, that's okay. Just want to help you identify the piece that we're working on. Focus your glue onto areas that have more surface area, and then any little tiny area we can always go back in and add a little extra glue using our painting method. That's plenty. And just want to line this up, just a rectangle on a rectangle. Make sure that your sides are flush, and then everything else should fall into place. You may need to give it a little bit of a nudge here or there, but for the most part, should be pretty straightforward. I would grab a handful of little pieces of scrap and get them ready by just putting a little bit of glue right on the very edge of one of them. And for example here, like this little flourish area, this round flourish, I'm just going to paint a little bit of glue on that. Make sure you don't get too much because that's going on black. Even though you're not going to see it, I would grab a dowel as well so that you can very gently push that down with the dowel. Kind of keep it in the correct position, because some of these, because they are somewhat like free floating, you can actually nudge them around a little bit. The paper will give ever so slightly and let you kind of reposition things in the wrong way. We don't want to reposition things. We want them to kind of stay where they are. Okay, that one's fine. That one I got enough glue on. I think that's good. Okay. Next we have this beautiful light blue layer. And the only difference with this is that the cutouts for the flowers are not cut out. Okay. And my glue is already giving me a headache today. Let's see if it can just let me finish this project. This is going to go quick. These are great. You can kind of let your machine do all the detailed cutting, walk away, come back. There's literally a handful of pieces, and then the assembly is super quick. So, you know, if you're kind of rushing around, you got something important to do, but you want to bring a card, perfect solution. And then if you buy the bundle, you're going to get over 20 captions that you can put on the inside. A lot of various sentiments for a lot of different things. Now, I know that it's impossible to cover everything, but we covered a lot, and we can always release another extra little freebie with some bonus captions. I know you guys appreciate that. The ones that we did include, you'll get free with the bundle. If you just get an individual card, we did not include it with individual cards. It's kind of a bonus if you buy the bundle. Okay, I'm going to make sure that I get a little extra glue on this little flourishy part here, because I can tell that that one was kind of living on the edge. And then these little blue, tiny, skinny little areas, I'm going to hit with some additional glue. And you can use the tip of this to kind of check to see if it'll lift up, and if it does, then just use whatever glue is left over on your scrap to paint it right on there, especially along the tip. You don't need to get every single inch of it. Usually, if you get that tip, it will stick. There we go. Beautiful. Okay, next we have this funky paper. I'm not even sure what this is. I was a little skeptical that it would work well, but it did. To my surprise, I was very happy with how it turned out. And I'm noticing here, especially with black, I know you guys probably run into this too. Even with more pressure with my brand new blade, with my Maker 3, it still left little areas that just weren't perfect. Okay, so this layer here, this has got a bunch of cutouts, but this one has probably the most cutouts next to the white one. Okay, so that one's going to go on next. Make sure that your bird is looking and facing to the right. What was that? Whoa, that was a bee. I just had a bee attack me. Well, that got my heart going more than that coffee did. Okay. All right, so very gentle with the glue here. I'm not even sure what glue would do to this paper if it gets on there. I don't think I've ever used it. It's almost like it's like a foily pearlescent. I don't even know how to explain it. It's really cool though. That's gonna need a little more glue there. Okay, and just like before, line it up around the perimeter. Make sure that it's flush all the way around. I'm wondering if I'm gonna have a hard time getting this one to stick onto this layer. A brayer might be handy. Very gently, in case I've got some residue on that brayer. I don't want it getting all over the place. And I'm curious if I need to wait a little bit. It doesn't seem to be moving, so I think we're rocking and rolling here, okay? And that just leaves our final layer that brings it all together for us. Look at that, okay? And then the green is gonna be right there. We can either glue that down flat, or I might just glue it down straight to the card so I don't get too much of that shadow. I kind of like seeing that green on there. And if this layer is way too high, it might cast too many shadows and kind of dull that background color. So I may just go flat with that. Okay, again, focusing primarily on larger areas. Go easy on the glue. We don't want it spilling out all over the place. And these little areas around the wings, I wouldn't even worry about putting glue on those. That's probably just going to end up making a huge mess. You can always just paint the glue later. There we go. Nudge that into place. Make sure it's nice and centered. And I have a feeling that this one on top of that previous layer will do just fine. I'm not going to have to sit here and wait for ages for it to set. We'll see. Okay. That looks good. Let's grab our scrap, add a little bit of glue right to the tip, and I'm going to go right here first under the wing. Just paint a little bit of glue there. And I'll press that down with my dowel, hold it right there strategically. And while I'm holding, just go over here under these little flourish areas. Spread a little glue there. By the time I get my glue on there, I can pretty much go on to the next little area. I'll thin that out with my nozzle. Tuck that under, right along the tip primarily, I'd say. Press that into place. I had a little bit of glue shoot out there, but you can wipe that off with my scrap. And we're just doing a little bit of cleanup here. Using that dowel. That way, with the dowel, you're not obstructing your view. You can really see what you're doing. Okay, let's take a look here. Am I missing anything yet? Typically around those flourishes, you might need a little extra love, and that's expected. I'm just gonna lift that up. Get a little extra glue on there. Push down gently with your dowel. You want to push straight down. Okay, and let's see here. Everything else looks good. All right, we have this little piece. This is one of the few overlays that we have for this project, and I pray that I didn't lose another eyeball. That'd be the second one. It's got to be somewhere. I'll just throw a little bit of glue on this. And you'll notice that there's a series of little markers for the hummingbird's belly. Just line that up, just like that. Careful if you're using a foil like I am, that you don't blemish it. Whoops. Speaking of blemishing. Okay, I'm going to clean that up with a little bit of glue right under here. Press that down. All right, eyeball, there you are. Found you. Whew. Okay, so for the eyeball, if you have a little pick-me-up, you can use that. I don't know why I just did that. Pick-me-up tool is essentially just a little thing that looks like a pen with a tacky tip. I think they brought them back. I think they're making them again. Okay, and that's going to go right here. Another one of the few little pieces. Okay, and then for the center of the eye, that circle is way too small to cut. So what I would do is just with a fine tip marker, just make a circle, or if you're more comfortable using like a Sharpie, I would just do a dot and just kind of let it soak. I think I'm going to go with a fine tip though, because that Sharpie sometimes has a mind of its own and does not cover Okay, find your center point and just start making a little circle. And make it bigger, make it bigger, make it bigger. Keep it centered until you have a good size. You gotta go bigger than that though. He looks like he found a pile of mushrooms somewhere or something. There we go. That looks nice. Okay, so that's beautiful. Okay, now well, actually, no, we're not done yet. What am I talking about here? We have this little gold piece, create a nice little frame around our hummingbird. So let's get that glued down. Just a little squiggly line of glue around the perimeter, and then we have one more white layer so that it almost gives it like a matted look, because I think it is a little piece of art. Okay, make sure it's flush with the top, flush with the sides. Run your finger along all the edges, right up at the top. Make sure it's nice and centered, good and flush. There we go. And then we'll cap that off with our final little frame. And just kind of shake your hand a little bit back and forth to make the smallest little squiggly. Just like that. And we're going to match that up. That again is just going right out to the very edge, top, bottom, left, and right. So that just that tiny little bit of gold is showing through. Make sure it's nice and centered all the way around. And press that down. Here we go. Perfect. Okay. Looks great. So again, artistic, creative decision making here. Do we want to glue it flat? You can see how much green's popping through there, but if we lift it up, it kind of darkens it a little bit. So really up to you at this point. I'm not sure. I'm kind of torn. Let me see here. If I lift it up about yay high, I'll tell you what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these on the back here because I can always peel them off, and if they rip the paper, it doesn't really matter because you're not going to see it. And yeah, that looks nice. I'm going to go with it. This one's got to come off anyway because it's too much. And get the middle filled in nicely, right up to there. And now, the cool thing about this is you can actually trim these so that you can kind of add them to smaller areas where an entire one just wouldn't quite fit. And I'm just getting notifications like crazy. People on the website buying things, people texting me. It's awfully distracting, and you wonder why you get overwhelmed sometimes. Okay, so we're going to peel these off now and just get that attached to the front of the card. Now also, if you bought the card individually, you have a blank insert. If you bought it part of the bundle came with over 20 different caption inserts. Okay, and I'll show you what they look like here in a second. Okay, so we just want to, and actually it may help to just flatten this out. And just get that nice and centered. It does help to flatten it out. Make sure it's nice and straight. There we go. Okay, beautiful, beautiful card. I love that one so much. Okay, so again, on the inside here on the right side, we've included, well, you've got a blank one. Okay, so if you bought the card by itself, you got the blank one here. We do have a set of 20 plus caption sentiments or inserts that you can add. These are print then cuts. And the cool thing is I made a video that shows you how to turn these into a gradient in Design Space. So we're just going to apply glue to the back of this and glue it right onto the inside here, maintaining a nice even border all the way around. Okay, and then all we have left to do is make our little envelope. Okay, so let's go ahead and fold at the score mark. And it's not, you know, I prefer the perforated score lines because they are more accurate, but I also love a nice crisp edge on a card and envelope. So you gotta kind of have to make some sacrifices. And with this, sometimes it just doesn't, it's not as accurate, especially in these little corners here. Okay, and let's fold that in very gently. Spread that out, there we go. Now this little piece here, I've got my texture side out. It's gonna go in like this, and just a tiny little bit of it's gonna be sticking out around the perimeter. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take and apply our glue to this entire surface, all the way out to this, all the way out to the edge, just as close as you can get. Okay, and fill it in. Don't worry too much about that little area there between the leaves. That'll stay, it's not gonna go anywhere. Okay, texture side out, just take it at an angle and push it up to that little score mark. Make sure it's centered. And then, there we go, and then press it down real quick. Make sure it bites. There we go. Okay, we have a little flower here. It's going to go right in the center there, like a little puzzle. So just a little dot of glue, like that. Pop it right in there. Oops. There we go. And we're going to take the two side flaps, give that another score. Apply your glue along the inside perimeter here, like that. And close it up. Okay. And just press that down. Your envelope is done. Don't forget to add a little bit of bling to the center of the flower. And there is your beautiful card with matching envelope. Okay, so that's going to do it for our hummingbird. Again, don't forget to put your insert in there. I'm not going to do it, but you can see it fits perfectly inside the envelope. And that's going to do it. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please visit us on our YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button. We are at almost 64,000 subscribers. I hope you join us. And if you make this or anything from our latest bundle, I'd love to see it, and so would the rest of our community. So head over to your Facebook, do a search for Dreaming Tree Official. That's where I hang out, as well as about, I think it's 46,000 of our crafty friends. So hope to see you there. And again, thanks for joining me. And as always, I look forward to crafting with you again. Hey, thanks for crafting along with me. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, check out some of our other videos, and please consider hitting that subscribe button. Also, don't forget to visit our site and check out our free SVG section, where you'll find over 140 free SVG files complete with assembly tutorials. I'll see you in the craft room.